Shuwawi. And this is our stage 2 release site for black rhino. And we've just finished, we're still actually in the process of finishing off. We just put a brand new fence line in. It's electrified. It's 15 square k's of pristine black rhino habitat. So it's quite an interesting story how we got our first rhino into this area. So it's a female called Kamchatka, and now she was part of our breeding stock, which was on the main section, the main breeding area. And she was pregnant, obviously, and black rhino, when they give birth, they start lactating 5 days before they give birth, which is something extraordinary that we've been able to witness and see because of the way we operate with our black rhino that side. And sure enough, it was during December, and it was a massively wet, rainy season, one that I've never experienced before actually. And on the 5th day when we knew, on the 4th day when we knew the baby should be due any minute now, she disappeared. You know, I had my scouts were with her, they were following her, and the next minute off she went into a thicket. We tracked her, but with the rain, we battled to.
Can you look at me in this place? Yeah, you're just too tall. Yeah, go. Sorry, with the rain.
So with the rain, we just battled to pick up her spoor, and we kept on losing her spoor, and it kept on pouring with rain. Anyway, at about 7 o'clock that night, I called it quits. I said, guys, listen, let's pull out, let her be. Maybe she's gone to find a good nesting area to have a calf, and then we'll go back in the morning and see if we can pick up fresh tracks and go and find her. 11 o'clock that night, I get a phone call. Hey, listen, I've just seen a rhino crossing the main road. So that means she's, number one, broken out of the main conservancy, and now she's going into areas where there's people, inhabited areas. So it's pretty frightening what she was doing. So we got up, we went to go and try and find her, and we couldn't. It was again pouring with rain. It was a nightmare. It was just mission impossible. So I called it off. Said, guys, let's go back. 5 o'clock in the morning. We'll get up and see if we can go and find her. And off we went. And 5 in the morning, we picked up tracks early. And we got on the spoor, and I had 3 call signs that were out, and we found her right on our southern boundary. And she was in a thicket, but she was completely surrounded by villagers. There were dogs in the area, and it was just a recipe for a disaster. Anyway, we found her, and when we saw her afterbirth was hanging out, so obviously the baby had just been born, and we got up and found the baby, and the baby was still staggering, trying to stand. And anyway, just seeing a rhino birth in itself is pretty extraordinary, and a privilege. Anyway, but we had no time to really think about that. What we had is a really big issue of a rhino that was outside of the conservancy, that has just had a calf, and is a first-time mother. So black rhino by nature, very aggressive, and now you put her under more pressure by, obviously she's just had a calf, and now she's outside in an unfamiliar area, with a lot of people, inhabitants, noise. It is a pretty serious situation.
Okay, stop.